is just unrecognisable, isn't it? You're eating in a totally different way, and that's actually really common with this, because people do use it as a catalyst for changing a lot of the things that they know they needed to change, and so it becomes just a tool to get yourself down the gym and to make all the changes that you knew that you needed to make. It's not that the balloon has forced you not to eat a Galaxy and a Pepsi, although I would have probably advised you against the Pepsi when we had our initial chat because of reflux. But yeah, I mean, what would be really helpful is if you talk me through how food sort of fitted into your life before you had the Elipse.
So with food, before I had the balloon, it tended to be a lot of convenience food, quick and easy and that sort of thing. A lot of fizzy drinks, a lot of fatty food, and a lot of tea as well. I always remember the first time I spoke to you when you mentioned about how many calories were in sugar. And I remember when you worked it out and everything, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like that is outrageous. That I completely cut that out. But yeah, when you told me, I thought, oh Christ.
Well, that's the trouble, you know, when we have 8-10 cups of tea a day and sugar in all of them, it does massively add up. Yeah. I think when you're dealing with a diet that's just full of reactive choices, so it's when you're out and about and suddenly you realise you're hungry and you go and grab something, actually the most powerful thing you can do is to start being prepared and actually planning ahead. So one of the fundamental things I get people to start practicing is writing out what they're going to have for their meals the next week at the weekend. And that simple act of doing that changes the entire week ahead. It does that because you make sure that you've bought the right foods to have in your house to match that meal plan, that you actually prep. So you start using leftovers, for instance, for lunch from the night before, and you can take them in. But the most powerful thing it stops you from doing is being vulnerable when you're hungry. Yeah. Because if we make choices about what we're going to eat when we're already hungry, we are lining ourselves up to make poorer choices and to eat more than we would have done. We've all done it, haven't we? You go in a cafe or canteen when you're starving, and the chances are you'll pick something like chips, because your body is driving you to do it. Where if you already know exactly what you're going to eat before you've sat down to eat it, you will eat it. And you'll wait and see how you feel afterwards as to whether you need anything else. But it just takes that decision-making bit away from being in the moment when you're vulnerable. And I think that could be a really key tool in changing that type of habit where you're just out and about, busy, constantly just grabbing whatever's available and what you fancy. Because you do know exactly how to make up a healthy diet. You've certainly proved that.
This is it. It's just, before it was just easy, like if I got home from work late, for example, and I opened the cupboard and there was nothing, and you just think, I'll just have takeaway. I'll just have a Chinese or something like that. And you think, oh well, might as well. No in, we'll do that. We're not good at shop, we'll just get a takeaway. And things.
Because in that moment, that's the way to immediately satisfy your hunger. You can also use it for reward and self-soothing. So there's so many different things playing in there, isn't there? Where actually, if you had your list, actually it's Wednesday, I'm going to have chili. Actually, I've got some of that in the freezer from last week, so I can just heat it up in the microwave and do some rice. It's a lot easier.
I like that. I like the fact that, like, if you make too much, it could be frozen. And then it takes the thinking out of things like, if you are going to work and you think, I'm not sure what I want to have, just pull it out and then you're done. It's easier that way, not thinking about things, especially if you've got nothing in as well. There's always something in the freezer.
So, I mean, planning ahead is certainly something that I would recommend as a key change. When you think back to what you're eating, is there anything that you particularly would focus on in terms of, well, you said you did tackle the sugar in your tea. That felt like something, I guess it's a quick win, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, as I mentioned, when you said that, I thought, oh, I can't keep doing that, because the wasted calories, like the calories that could be used somewhere else. So like,
that's a really good way of looking at it, that wasted calories. It's not giving you any nutrition, really. It's not even helping you feel full. And I guess the same goes with the cola stuff. You know, that's exactly what it was happening, that you were taking all of these wasted calories in drinks that weren't helping you to feel full.
No, and that's it as well. It's like, if I were getting so many calories from just tea, you think as well, how many were I getting from the cola and everything as well? So by the time you finish, you just think it's just not worth it. Like, just have water. Even squash, it's nice. Like, especially on the hot days as well, you tend to find you feel a bit more refreshed with it as well.
Mm.
And it